What's going on, viewers and subscribers? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So, this video, I was forced to make this video because of what has taken place in my home country, Jamaica, my little Jamaica. You know, for most of us who live overseas, especially in the country of America, Canada, or wherever you might live outside of Jamaica. Jamaica is like a paradise, to us, especially me. Whenever time I'm going through any struggle, the only thing I can think about that, give me some level of comfort is my little country, Jamaica. Is my little paradise. And I was forced to make this video. I have to say something as a person who design buildings and work in the engineering field. So yes, Hurricane Mellisa has totally ravaged Jamaica. The images that I've seen coming out of the country is really devastating, especially as it relates to the western parishes, parish like St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Anova, Trelawney, and St. James, particularly. I was, understanding that the eastern part of the island, St. Thomas, Portland, although I heard that St. Mary get a battering also, that they were, that part of the island was basically spared. So my sincere condolences to people who have lost their life and to people who have lost their property. I'm sincerely saddened by that. You know what I mean? And we as human beings on this earth, we just have to come to the realization that this earth, planet Earth, is a violent and a hazardous place to live. You know what I mean? We have violent and catastrophic volcanoes, violent and catastrophic earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, tsunami, tidal wave. We can be even hit by a asteroid or a meteorite, a rock that comes out of space and impact the earth. If you read science and read history, to tell you that that was what caused the ice age and caused the dinosaur to go extinct 65 million years ago. So the earth is a very violent and a hazardous place to live, right? But saying that, we in Jamaica, we can rise and, we are resilient people. I'm sure this is going to bring some level of togetherness. I know the government, when it comes to natural disaster, they are very responsive. And I have seen where they are doing their utmost best to get the country on a path, to where it was before the hurricane hit, right? So some people might say that we need to look at the building code in terms of how we go about building our buildings to be resistant to these natural disaster. And my 2 cents to that is that as a practicing engineer, I design bridge. There's no way you can ever design a structure or a building to be 100% resistance towards these violent natural disaster. It is just not possible. Okay? Every now and again, you're going to be hit with a catastrophic disaster that no design can withstand. All right? The most I can say that we can do things to limit the damage so that the damage is not, widespread. But there's no safeguard to design any structure that can totally withstand disasters such as this. Right? It's the same thing. I heard the argument going around where our drainage system is concerned that we should clean the drainage and we should ensure that we keep it clean, that when these hurricane come, it can prevent flooding. Okay, No cleaning of drains. Let me say this: no cleaning of drains can stop flooding when you have a hurricane of this magnitude. Okay, it doesn't matter how clean your drain is, you're going to be flooded. Okay, so in terms of rainfall, right? You have several different cycles of rainfall. You have the 25-year flood, you have the 50-year flood, you have the 100-year flood, and you have the 500-year flood. That means that every so often, every 25 years, 50, 100, 500 years, you're going to get a flood of a certain intensity and a certain magnitude that no drainage system can deal with. Yes, I agree. We should keep our drains clean, so that when we have normal rainfall, we don't encounter these flooding. But for a natural disaster, such as this magnitude, no building code, no engineering, no nothing can prevent damage. Okay? Because I've seen roof that has recently go on with, that have been totally blown up. Even the structural part of the building, the walls was totally, what I mean? I see buildings, areas that was totally inundated with water, you know. So yeah, some people might say they have to look into areas where we live. That is true, and we have to take more, look into it in a more deep way in terms of where you purchase land and in terms of where you want to live. But you can never 100% have any safeguards towards these issues. You can have an area that is not prone to flooding, and all of a sudden a rainfall comes and that area has been flooded. So you can never tell. You know what I mean? So yes, we should build, building that can withstand a certain magnitude in terms of earthquake, and hurricane and these natural disaster. But in all essence, you're not going to have a building that is totally, you know, can withstand these elements, right? So as I said, um this video, I was forced to do this video. I have to say something, and I hope that we can use this as a means to come together. Each one help one. We do not want the humanitarian situation on the ground get worsened, because people are going to be desperate. There's a shortage of water, food, and shelter. And we have to come together and help each other before the humanitarian situation um totally disintegrates or go into a realm that is going to make it difficult for us to recover quickly, right? So we have to coalesce around each other in these times of need, you know. And I know that we are going to come again and build again, you know. But I want to say something too before I go in terms of our roofing. Um, this is not to say that because we have hurricane that we can't use timber roofing. Okay, I think there are more innovative ways we can, do our roofing. In the Cayman Island, they use a truss system to hold their roof down, what I mean, to withstand these hurricanes, even though it's not totally resistant. In the case of Jamaica, we use hurricane straps. Whenever time I'm designing the building with timber roof, you know, I make sure I put the hurricane straps at every rafter to hold down the structure of the roof. The finishing material, some of them might be blown off, but at least the structural part of the roof might, withstand it. But that is not 100% either, because, in the case of this category 5, I don't think hurricane strap can totally withstand these gale force winds, winds of 185 miles per hour. It's not going to totally withstand something of that magnitude, right? But as I said before, we will rebound. This is not the first time we have been struck by an hurricane. We have got Hurricane Mellisa last year. We have got, I think, in 2004, Hurricane Ivan, Hurricane Emily, you know. So we can rebound, and this is just a time for us to come together and each one look out for the other. And I know that the government is going to do their best to get the country on a footing, right? So we can rebound and start again. And for the people of Black River, I have seen the images, and the images coming out of Black River St. Elizabeth was really, catastrophic. When I look at the town of Black River, 90% of the structure there, was totally devastated. I've seen the Black River Fire Station. I was a firefighter stationed in Santa Cruz at one point, you know. And before I go, I must big up the crew from the Mandeville Fire Station. I heard that you have rescued some people on Ward Avenue. I was a firefighter stationed at the Mandeville Fire Station at one point in time, before I transitioned into my engineering and architecture field. So big up the man them from the Manable Fire Station, job well done. And big up the entire essential service too, the Jamaica Fire Brigade, the Jamaica Defense Force, and the Jamaica Constabulary Force to, put their life on the line to see that our citizens are being taken care of. All right. So I'm gonna catch you again in another video. This video is just a video to, show that, what has take place in my little country, Jamaica, has totally shaken me up. A lot of people that know that I'm a Jamaican, keep coming to me, asking me questions. I have two properties there. There's not much damage to them, although I haven't gotten any report from one of them yet. But based on what I'm seeing, Clarendon is not that totally affected. And Manchester, some part of Manchester has been affected severely. But I guess everything is good with that property. All right. So until catch you again, take care. Enough respect. All right. Good.